According to a recent survey, Americans believe they need $1.46 million to retire comfortably. Pause on that for a second, because what if I told you that number could be wrong for you by more than $1 million? Some people will need far more. Others could retire comfortably with much less. So where does that number come from? And more importantly, how do you figure out your number? That's what we're going to cover today. The biggest mistake people make when planning for retirement is focusing on a savings target. $1 million, $2 million, $3 million. But retirement planning doesn't start with a pile of money. It starts with income. Think about it. A couple living in a paid-off home in a low-cost area has very different expenses than a couple living in a high-cost city with a mortgage. One retiree wants to travel internationally every year. Another is perfectly happy spending time with family, volunteering, and enjoying hobbies close to home. Same age, completely different numbers. That's why there is no universal retirement number. There is only your number. And your number starts with one simple question. How much income do I need each year to support the retirement I want? Now, you've probably heard some common retirement rules. Maybe you've heard you need 10 times your salary saved. Maybe you've heard you'll need to replace 70 to 80% of your income. Those rules aren't necessarily wrong. They're just broad guidelines. The problem is that they don't know anything about your situation. They don't know your expenses. They don't know your lifestyle. And they don't know how much income you'll receive from Social Security. Which brings us to the most important concept in this video, the income gap. Let's walk through a simple example. Suppose you've estimated that you'll need $80,000 per year to live comfortably in retirement. Many people stop right there. They immediately start asking, how much money do I need to generate $80,000 per year? But that's not the right question. Here's what most people miss. Before you calculate how much money you need, you have to figure out how much of your spending is already covered. Let's assume Social Security provides $45,000 per year between you and your spouse. Now stop and think about that. Your investments no longer need to generate $80,000. They only need to generate $35,000. That's a difference of $45,000 every single year. And that changes everything. The amount your investments must provide is your income gap. And that's the number that actually matters, not your total spending, the gap. Get that number right, and the rest of the math falls into place. Now, let's talk about the 4% rule. Don't worry, we're keeping the math simple. The basic idea is this. Historically, retirees have often been able to withdraw roughly 4% of their investment portfolio each year, while maintaining a reasonable chance that their money lasts throughout retirement. Again, it's a guideline, not a guarantee, but it's a useful starting point. Let's go back to our example. The income gap was $35,000. If you divide $35,000 by 4%, you get approximately $875,000. Let that sink in. A household spending $80,000 per year may not need a $2 million portfolio. They may need something much closer to $875,000 because Social Security is already covering a significant portion of their expenses. That's why understanding your income sources is just as important as understanding your investment balance. The two work together. And when you account for both, the number you actually need is often much more achievable than the headlines suggest. Now, there's one more thing most retirement calculators don't talk about: taxes. And this is where the real difference maker lives. Imagine two retirees. Both have a $1.5 million portfolio. Both spend the same amount. Both earn similar investment returns, but one retiree has a tax-efficient withdrawal strategy. The other doesn't. The result? One retiree keeps significantly more of their income. The other sends more of it to the IRS. Same portfolio. Very different outcomes. That's one of the biggest reasons I created this channel. Retirement isn't just about saving more quick. It's about keeping more. Because every dollar you don't unnecessarily lose to taxes is a dollar you didn't have to save in the first place. So, how much do you need to retire comfortably in 2026? The honest answer is it depends. But here's a simple framework you can start with today. First, estimate your annual retirement spending. What does the life you want actually cost? Second, subtract Social Security and any other reliable income sources. Pensions, rental, income, anything that comes in regardless of your portfolio. Third, that remaining number is your income gap. That's what your investments need to cover. And fourth, use the 4% rule as a starting point to estimate the portfolio size that can fill it. Forget the magic number. Bucks, forget the headlines. Focus on building a plan that generates enough income to support the retirement you actually want. Because the goal was never to accumulate the biggest number possible. It was always to live well and keep more of what you worked so hard to build. If you found this video helpful, subscribe to Keep More Retire. Each week we break down retirement taxes, Social Security strategies, IRMAA planning, withdrawal strategies, and practical ways to help you keep more of your hard-earned money. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.